Okay, let's do this. All right, so Arjun McCullough here. Welcome back. No podcast this week, but mid-season break, summer break ends. I guess it's over as of basically Monday. So, yeah, we're gonna get some. Got a little bracket here, a little bracket action to figure out who the best drivers of the first half of the season were. Now, I think we all know who number one is, and brackets are generally 32 or 16. So I went with 16. I have, as you'll see, eliminated a couple of guys, Ricardo and De Vries for obvious reasons, and then Sargent, Kevin Magnussen, and Yuki Tsunoda. They did not make the bracket. Those are the bottom five. So the top 16 in order. Let's go through it right now. If you want to do this yourself, you can search on bracketfights.com F1 midseason driver rankings. Let's do it. All right, first one, Max versus Zhou Guanyu. I think Max. Okay, next we've got Charles Leclerc versus Pierre Gasly. Let's see. Oops. Charles versus Pierre. Neither one of them doing too great this season so far. Let's look at the standings here. Charles 99 points, Pierre 22, but in a much worse car. Both a little disappointing, but I'm going to give the nod to Charles here. Moving on. Same kind of matchup. We got Sainz versus the other Alpine, Ocon. Ocon had a podium in Monaco, if I remember correctly, and has shown some bright flashes. So I'm going to go with Ocon on this one for the upset. Hulkenberg versus Mr. Alonso. Kind of a tale of two stories here. Hulkenberg doing great in qualifying. Alonso started the season amazing. The car's kind of dropped off a bit, but considering he is third in the standings, I'm going Alonso. Okay, so we're going to stick on this first half of the bracket before we get to the second half. So we got Max versus Charles. Max is just an auto through till the end here, let's be honest. Ocon versus Alonso. So I'm going to look back at the standings here. Alonso is beating his teammate by 100 points. Ocon and Gasly are pretty close. He's got 15 points in that one. He's putting up points, though, pretty regularly. He had five races in a row with points. Pretty good for what their car is, but that being said, Alonso he was in great form most of the year, putting up multiple podiums. I think he's gotten a point in every race. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So putting up points very, very consistently. So I'm going to go back with Alonso over Ocon. And then to complete this half of the bracket, we've got Max versus Alonso. And the first time we really had to give a bit of thought, but Max is Max. So I'm going to go with Max. The second half of the bracket begins with the number 2 seed versus the number 15 seed. We've got Sergio Perez versus Valtteri Bottas. Two guys not doing their best, I'd say, this season. But let's see. Bottas 15th, 5 points, and you got 4 of them in the first race. Perez, second place. Yes, he's struggled, considering the car he has, but I got to take him. He's shown some good races. Russell versus Piastri. This is, in theory, a bit of a tough one, but for me, it's pretty obvious. Piastri, he could win this whole thing. 11th place as a rookie, and he's got points in the last 3 races. He only had 5 points after Canada. And since then, he's just racking it up. So I'm going to go with Piastri on this one. Next up, we have Lando Norris versus Lance Stroll. Yes, he's Canadian, and I'm Canadian, the only Canadian on the grid. But Lando is kind of like Oscar, just coming on hot recently, and Lance isn't cutting it. So easy pick there. Next, we've got Albon versus Hamilton. Sorry, Alex. Sergio Perez versus Oscar Piastri. That's another easy one. This is the second round of the second half of the bracket. So we got Piastri over Perez. Nice simple pick. Lando versus Lewis. Ooh. Probably my two favorite drivers on the grid. Lewis 4th place, kind of dragging that tractor along. I mean, it's not a tractor, but it's certainly not anywhere near the Red Bull. It's probably been the 3rd best car consistently all year. And then Lando 8th place, solid, like so good for what that car's been doing. And recently he's actually been outscoring Lewis. So I hate to do it. I'm wearing the Lewis hat. Sorry, Lewis. Taking a number off, going Lando. So that brings us to the final in the East region of the bracket. Piastri versus Norris. Tough pick. But considering he's a rookie, considering how well he's adapting and beating Norris sometimes even, and just his demeanor, like so calm, so cool, calm, and collected. Whereas some people, not me, but some people don't like the way Lando composed himself. To each their own. I'm going to go Oscar, though. And that brings us to the big finale. Max Verstappen versus Oscar Piastri. Who will it be? We've got Max Verstappen, 314 points. He has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 races in a row, plus the sprints. That's 11. That's 12 races in a row. He's won 13 out of 14, I believe, because Paris has 2. So on one of these isn't a win. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins. I don't know. I could easily just look up how many wins he has. It probably would have been easier. But Piastri, I mean, so basically Max is beating everyone. We all know that. That's very well established. He's basically almost doubled up on everyone. He keeps this up, he will be. And then, so we got number 1 versus number 11 in the standings. Piastri, I mean, I want to choose Piastri. I really do. I'm hoping by the end of the season I'll be able to choose Piastri. But it's Max. We knew it was Max. It's Max. So there we have it, everybody. There is your final Braxki. Number 1, Max. Number 2, Oscar. And then if we had to do 3, it would be between Alonso and Norris. I would take Alonso. 4 would, so top 5 would be Max, Oscar, Alonso, Norris, Hamilton. All right, there we have it. Be sure to tune back in next week. We will be back on our bullshit. We're going to have a preview podcast. Going to try and put out a little more reactionary content to the races and the quali. So, yeah, if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back at Zandvoort in a couple days.